But let's just start this week. Thursday Night Football. We have Kansas City coming off two losses actually. -4.
True. Home losses.
Home losses, not so good against the AFC South. Kansas City, according to Bovada, -4 at Denver.
You know what? What do you think about this one, Sean? You lead.
It's a tough one. I hate betting against division underdogs at home.
I know.
But Kansas City losing 3 games in a row, they lost. I'm not hitting the panic button on them. I talked about this last week. Houston, I thought Houston matched up very well. I called the Houston possible upset, if you recall, Brad. I was on Houston to cover that game, and I said, look, when this happens, I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to panic. I think Kansas City, if they're under a touchdown favorite, I think you got to take the action. I don't love it. Denver's defense is finally showing up and being the defense I thought they would be.
Right.
But it's hard for me to imagine Joe Flacco and Phillip Lindsay and Courtland Sutton and Emmanuel Sanders standing up against, Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill now. Sammy Watkins might be back. You got Williams. I mean, Kelce. You got too many weapons in Kansas City. I hate doing it. I never bet Thursday games, but I'm picking Kansas City -4, man. I think this is a touchdown game. What do you think, Brad?
I think the safe bet is Kansas City -4. Yeah, they're a great squad. They hit a little bit of a skid, and I guess that happens. It's really tough to win in this league, and sometimes you go flat.
Yeah.
And sometimes sometimes you just kind of lose your way. But I'd like to believe that Andy Reid can bring him back in and get the game plan down and right the ship.
Yeah, and you know what I really like about this game, because Kansas City is on a Thursday, I like Andy Reid having extra time. Just like I like Bill Belichick, when you have extra time to prepare, his record is astronomical. The same applies to Andy Reid. He's great off a bye week. He's going to be great off of what I would call a half bye week, assuming that Kansas City is playing in Week 8. I actually haven't checked ahead to the schedule that long, but I'm assuming they are. But Kansas City... I just think there are too many weapons. I was looking at the injury report. Denver is more injured, I would say, than Kansas City is. Yeah, I know Sammy Watkins is kind of nicked up. Kansas City has some guys. At this time of season, everybody has some guys. But, I don't like that Emmanuel Sanders is on the injury report for Denver. He needs to play. Having a short week to turn around, he might not. If he doesn't play, I don't think Denver has a chance in this game. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take Kansas City to win, certainly outright, but win by a touchdown. So I like this spread. I think the betting community is seeing 2 losses and then that near loss to Detroit, and I think they're kind of panicking a little bit. I think Detroit is better than people think, and I think the AFC South is better.
I agree. I think Detroit is actually a really tough squad.
Yeah, man.
And but there's something about them that still remains.
It's Matt Stafford.
Detroit.
I'm telling you, it's Matt Stafford.
You think it's Stafford? I don't know, dude. I don't know because. Okay, all right.
I think it's Stafford. I mean, that's my opinion.
It's like they still have this like Detroit mentality where they can't win a close game or
something happens. It's that negative energy.
Yeah, man, it's a really weird deal. But I think they're pretty rowdy. I will say this: I don't think they're any worse than the Bears or the Vikings.
Okay.
I just don't. I think all 3 of those teams are pretty good.
Yeah, and Green Bay is just I think a sliver.
A hair.
Yeah, a hair better, and
better.
That's all you need in the NFL. And what is Green Bay now? They're 5-1, right? Am I
5-1? Yeah,
5-1, and I razor thin margin is in a couple games, but there you go, including the Philly game. I mean, they could be,
and that's correct.
Yeah,
6-0.
They could be 6-0.
They could be 6-0 if they ran it one goddamn time from the one, right? Yeah. And they're only a hair and a sliver because of Rodgers, right? And that's the reality. And that's okay, but yes, I think that Detroit, Minnesota, Chicago are all the same team right there, man.
I'm curious what Coward's going to say about the old Packers. By the way, I know we're getting a little off topic, but
I'm curious as well.
He's been coming out hard against Aaron Rodgers, and he's got a run game, he's got a defense. I'm over it. I'm over it. Well, they're 5-1, brother. They're 5-1. He's got a run game. He's got a defense, and they're 5-1.
Aaron is not his guy.
No, I know, but it's the Fox factor, man. Ever since he's got over to Fox, he's just got to be a little bit more, put the screws into people. He's got to be a little bit more out there.
Yes, okay, but they had at it when he was on ESPN as well. I don't know if you remember, but remember when Rodgers got hot and won the Super Bowl, right? And then so Rodgers had to eat crow, and he brought him on.
No, Coward had to eat crow.
Sorry, yes, correct. Sorry, Coward had to eat crow, and he kind of said to Rodgers he was wrong about him, and Rodgers was like, "Well, I don't care what you think, so I'll take it," right? So they're like not.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Coward does not like that.
But Coward does not like Rodgers, but he will say he doesn't deny that he's not one of the greatest talents to ever exist.
That's how you can be right no matter what you do.
Sure.
He can be an all-time talent, as he's always said, but then I'm selling.
Yeah.
He's got a defense and run game. I'm out. He's 5-1, brother.
Yeah, I think Coward exaggerates.
Come out, you take strong stance. Come out and own up. Be wrong.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, man, I was wrong last week in Philly, man. We took it. Some people commented on the YouTube game preview. You and me, man, we were ragging on Kirk Cousins last week. We got Kirked, brother. We got Kirked last week. Hey, you're wrong sometimes. Kirk Cousins won the matchup that we identified the matchup. I will say this, Brad. We said this game would come down to Kirk Cousins and Stephon Diggs. And I didn't think Kirk Cousins had it in him to hit Diggs deep. 3 touchdowns to Diggs. We were wrong. Yeah. Own it, Coward. Damn it. Own it.
That's the thing about Kirk Cousins that really infuriates me because he can't, right? It's like he can never help his cause with me. And maybe that's what Rodgers does to Coward. Kirk Cousins can never help his own cause because I see him throw for these 3 touchdowns. And I'm like, that's
4, by the way, because he hit one with Thielen. But, yeah, I mean, those Diggs ones were beautiful.
And 4, yeah. And I'm like, this is just a mirage. And everyone's going to stroke you up. And then you're going to be terrible,
I know. It's good for gamblers, though. I mean, you got to ride the wave, although it wasn't good for me. I was 9 and – no. Yeah, I was 9-3 last week, so I had another huge week, right? And this is what happens with me. I get hot about week 4, week 5, and ride it through the season. Last season,
great week, though.
Between weeks 5 and 16 last season, I was 70%, and that dates back. That's just always been my trend because I use computers too, and it needs in-season stuff. I 9-3. I'm in a big pick'em contest where you pick 5 every week, and 2 of my freaking losses. One of them was Philadelphia, and one of them was Green Bay, who didn't cover against Detroit. Was in there 9-3. It would be nice if I could pick the 5 freaking winners.
Yeah,
odds are on my side. And anyway, let's get to back to Kansas City and Denver. Let's get to the daily fantasy stuff. Actually, analytically speaking, because the way Denver's defense is playing, look, I have Patrick Mahomes. Analytically speaking, they're saying it's a sit. Nobody in their right mind is ever going to sit Patrick Mahomes, play him. What that tells you is if you're in daily fantasy, if you're playing like a Thursday night showdown, maybe you want to spend the money on Flacco instead of Mahomes. But you're going to start Mahomes as well. You should. Damien Williams and LaShawn McCoy, I think, are both starts this week. Tyreek Hill is a start. If Sammy Watkins plays, he's a start. If not, for me, it's Demarcus Robinson. I don't start anybody else other than Kelce, but I don't buy Kelce in daily fantasy. I don't think he gives you that value. By the way, everybody, just a reminder, we come out with a start, sit, and a touchdown predictor later in the week, so check that out on the YouTube channel. Once again, for everybody, it's youtube.com/theunderdog. For Denver, Flacco, I don't start him. I think Lindsay is a start. I think everybody's been able to get Kansas City in rushing yards. I think Lindsay's a start. I don't love Freeman as much this week, but if you have him and you like him, you can start him. But I do think Lindsay gets in the end zone. Emmanuel Sanders, you got to check the injury report. I don't have him as a start anyway. I do think Courtland Sutton is the better receiver to start there, and everybody else I think is a sit.